Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your
Wow.
resident Gen Xer, and that that over there is
That would be
John,
me.
your
Yes.
resident millennial.
Yes.
John, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you.
Tonight I am fan fucking tastic, I think.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. I like it. I like to hear that.
That's right.
It's always good to have those little upgrades at time. I see we have Saint in the house. Good evening to we're his bitches. I think we're his bitches.
Are we
Did
his
you?
bitches or we
I don't
just
know. He
bitches?
says it in a very a dominant way. So
I think that's just wishful thinking on your part.
wait a minute. Hold the phone. I'm not that kind of gal. So how's your week been, John? How's your week been?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. What about you, Robert? No one ever asked you how you are doing,
It
Robert.
is true. You very rarely ask me how my week has been. Yeah, it's been a week. It fell short of fan fucking tastic. I will say that, but
Ah, that's a shame.
getting to see my grandchild right now. So the Rhea's, the little one's here. So woohoo! She's hitting her stride in rebellion.
Oh yeah,
You know how these 3-year-olds
fucking
can be,
kids.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They think they've
Ah,
got all of it figured out. There's Michael Vega. He is the god of this world.
not my world.
I
Shit.
mean, I'm just going to put it out there. That really doesn't mean much if we understand that there are multiple worlds, multiple
Yeah, that's right. You
parallel
ain't got a shit.
universes, etc. So, like, that's
You're
just
god of
not
one
that's
speck of dust. That ain't shit.
right.
You're a shit god, Michael Vega.
That's not even factoring in the size of the universe and how many possible other worlds there could be just here
Right.
in our universe. Not to mention those outside, the parallels and the alternate dimensions, et
Jeez.
cetera, et cetera. So what you really are is a god of,
A
well,
speck. A
one, yeah,
tiny,
just you're.
insignificant, like a half of a grain of sand. How does
I
that feel?
I'm gonna put it out there that you may not want to capitalize God when you say that. I don't know that it's appropriate
Yeah, he's definitely a little
when
G
we look at
god.
the scale of it. I don't know that it's appropriate,
That's true.
but
I do feel like
it
I
is
came
good
out a
to
little
see you.
aggressive, though.
Do what?
I do feel like I came out a little aggressive, though.
Well,
Saying you're shit. Oh, man.
sir, YouTube chat doesn't allow all caps all the time,
All the time.
except that. I guess you can say God as much as you want in all caps.
YouTube is a good Christian company.
Hey, folks, if you haven't done it yet already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do those things that make people happy, particularly these two people. It makes us happy when you do those things.
It does.
Another thing that makes us happy is helping people, and I think we're going to do that. John, what do you think?
Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that on Friday, August 21st, which is what, 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks,
2 weeks from this
21st.
day. That's right.
21st.
We're doing a 12-hour charity live stream for St. Jude's. Once again,
12 hours.
12
12
hours.
hours.
Yeah, you're like a backup singer. I love it. I actually just finished yesterday. I've just finished my portion of the trivia contest, so I've got all my little categories and all my little questions.
All right, good. The pressure's on then for me to do mine.
Yeah,
I always work best whenever there's the pressure under pressure as opposed
right.
to
Dum,
I
dum,
don't do
dum,
my
dum, dum,
best
dum,
thinking.
dum. Under pressure, pushing
I thought we were
down
going to
on
bust
me.
out Vanilla Ice there for a minute.
No, it's very similar. You know,
All right,
whatever
stop.
tune, but not the same.
Collaborate and listen.
It's true. Anyway, yeah, so we'll be doing that, and I unfortunately have not heard from a sea shanty group yet, which is extremely unfortunate. I've
You've got
emailed.
your own worst case.
Well, yeah, well, that was the plan, right? Is that we're going to have a competition, but now we probably won't be able to. I mean, obviously, I'll keep trying and I'll update you guys, but
I'll still
yeah, it looks
judge.
like we're just going to be doing solo.
I'll still judge you even if you don't have somebody to compete with.
No, I think you should come up with a competing sea shanty group.
No, no, I'm
Of
just
course
here
not.
to I'm just here
Yeah,
to
no,
judge you,
you.
John.
Of
I'm
course.
just here to judge you. That's really all I got.
You should do two horribly bad sea shanty groups. See which one sucks the least.
I don't even know what a sea shanty is. So,
Yes, you do.
you know what? What if we did air shanty?
No, you can't just mouth the words.
Right. That's what I'm
That's not how
saying.
that works.
We'll just do air shanty.
No, no lip syncing.
How will you know? I mean, seriously.
Because I know that you can't sing as well as sea shanty groups can.
You don't know
Yeah, that's
what I
horrible.
can do.
Yeah, you couldn't do it.
Was that a sea shanty?
Sure. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. And yeah, make sure you're there. It's gonna be awesome.
I see J. Edgar is lurking while he's driving.
What asshole.
You know, I, I guess up in Wisconsin they don't have laws against lurking and driving. I don't
No,
know.
I suppose not.
I guess that's the kind of thing you would expect,
Down here you get arrested for lurking, so
right? I mean, lurking.
yeah.
People look down on you when you're lurking. You know, because in Florida you got to do shit wide open, full volume, brother. No lurking,
Yeah,
no lurking allowed.
right.
You got to go balls to the wall. You got to walk up to a kid after you've had a few drinks in a restaurant and see that the kid is wearing a mask and you, not being his parent, but are a Florida man, tell the kid, take the goddamn mask off. You don't need to wear a mask. Take the damn
Yeah.
thing off.
Yeah.
And then when the kid does it, you get down in his face and you spit in it and tell him, well, there, you're going to get the
So
coronavirus
this
now
this
anyway.
seems to be a little too specific for something that you're
This
just
is
thinking of.
absolutely Florida man activity this past weekend, Jason.
Okay.
Actual Florida man activity.
Yeah, Florida man. You
Tells
know,
a
he's
boy in a restaurant to take his mask off and then spits in his face when he does it.
like if he was a D&D character, Florida man would be chaotic neutral probably.
Oh no, there's evil
True
there too,
chaotic.
though.
There's evil there, but there's also a
Well,
lot of good.
well,
Florida man does
well.
good things too,
Technically, you have to qualify: is
just in
it
a
evil
chaotic
or
way.
alcohol? Is alcohol evil? Because really, that is when you get the true Florida man. Is when you mix Florida man with alcohol.
No, no. See, you misunderstand. See, alcohol, and especially crystal meth, are just his spell focus that he uses in order
Gotcha.
to, yeah, in order to cast
I
spells.
see Wyatt has shown up. He's yoing us. Yo yo.
Yo,
Ma. Yo yo ma. Aha. You see what I did there.
yeah.
But hey, I don't know.
You don't know.
Does it bother you to be in Florida knowing that it's like when you tell
Nah,
somebody you're from Florida, the first thing that runs through their mind are the 50 headlines about Florida man this, Florida
nah. It's
man
an
that?
it's an icebreaker, and it's an easy way to make jokes, and then now you're in with that person.
Because
It's
you
very
probably
simple.
get
Yeah.
profiled right away,
Oh yeah.
right?
And
Like,
I had the look of a Florida man.
no, yeah, you are not far removed from Florida man.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that
The
out
only
there.
difference is I wear jeans instead of cut off shorts and flip flops. So
Yeah, Florida man. Florida man is the man.
yeah,
Nothing tops a Florida man. Those make good headlines, though. Gotta say, gotta
they do.
say, it's like you'll get a story from somewhere in the United States, and you're like, oh my god, but then you see something very similar coming out of Florida, and you're like, oh look, it's Florida. I mean, uh, run of the mill Florida,
Yeah, it's like that's just a Tuesday, man. Like,
right?
wait till the weekend. We'll give you something to write about.
Right? What man jerks off in public fountain? Florida man says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Yeah, I hold my beer. Hold my beer.
Wait, was he jerking off into a fountain, or was he in the fountain jerking off?
See, and it is the specificity that you need that qualifies you as a Florida man,
Well,
sir.
one's way worse. I mean,
Right? Yeah, you just see, you're a Florida guy. You're Florida. See, that's the Florida seeping out.
yeah.
Search your birthday
Oh,
with
let's do
Florida
that.
man.
Let's search both of our
All right,
birthdays.
search my birthday after you search yours, of course, but
Well,
because you'll always
I
do
mean,
yours first.
well, I figured you would do it, but that's fine.
I don't feel like. Well, I might in a minute or two, but Sure, this isn't the Monday show. Yes, we're sure, Wyatt. God, Jesus Christ. Did you fill out the application for producer? I mean, did you? God. Yeah. Yeah, we're just, this is our first 15 minutes of filler or so. I mean, gosh. Wyatt
Yeah,
wants us to hurry
jeez.
up or something. I don't know. He's being pushy.
Let's see. First thing that came up is Florida man known for viral Easter Bunny brawl arrested after a hit and run tells cops to Google him. Wait, that can't be the right date then. That's not the right date because I was born in 1990. There was no Googling anybody.
The fucker, you don't even know how to do this right.
What you fucking fuck you?
It's probably, I guess, I think the point is that there's probably no matter what birthday you put in, there's probably going to
Oh,
be
here we
some
go.
story about a Florida man.
What happened on my birthday?
Yeah, you can set that search, right? Right.
Yeah, it was a Saturday. I didn't know that before.
Great.
Under the
Anything?
sign of Aquarius, which is interesting. Um, it was when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister of the UK. Yeah, I don't have anything else. There's no like headlines or anything.
No, did you put your birthday and Florida man in there?
Yes, of course. Jesus Christ, I'm not a fucking retard.
I'm
Florida
just,
Man
I'm,
Times,
I'm just. It's possible you might
it's
be, and you
January
don't know it.
17th. I am not a retard. My mother had me tested. Yeah, I don't know. You look it up then if you're so smart. See what we got over here. Fun game, yeah. Uh,
I love it. My birthday ninja.
Last year a Florida man robbed Taco Bell and made a snack. Yeah, man. What
Oh,
else do you rob a Taco Bell for? That and the Baja Blast, of course.
see, I think I found something here. I got a Naples Daily News has an article that says naked shenanigans. See what Florida man did on your birthday.
Hmm.
Googling Florida man and your birthday tickles funny bones across the internet. So I guess it's oh, and there's plenty of Florida women for it too. But
Yeah, I think it was made. I think this game was made for like Zoomers who were born, with the internet.
with the internet, right?
Yeah.
It may or may not serve a purpose for someone born before, well,
Right. I
the
think we're
internet.
too old. I think we're both too old, Robert.
Well,
That's
the internet was
insane.
around when you were born.
Not really. Not in any kind of substantial way.
You know what we call the internet when I was a kid? Time
This
capsules.
information superhighway.
Time capsules.
It's not the internet. What?
It was a joke.
That's not a good joke.
That's the
Wow.
only
How
that's the
dare
only
you?
way for something to live forever was a time capsule. You put stuff in a time.
Yeah.
Now the internet does it. See, follow along. AM/FM radio was about the closest. So CB radios. I guess CB radios could be considered part of the.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it is like a proto chat room, I guess.
Michael Vega says no Florida man activity on his actual birthday, but last year a
Oh,
Florida
lame.
man robbed Taco Bell and made a snack.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Like, why else do you go to Taco Bell? If you like, why else do you rob a Taco Bell other than to make a snack and get some Baja Blast?
I'll tell you exactly why you would rob a Taco Bell.
Why?
I figured this out because I needed something that only you can
Whoa,
only get at Taco Bell.
are you about to incriminate yourself?
No, I did
You're
not rob a Taco Bell to do this, and I
like,
don't
I'll tell
have
you
the thing.
exactly why, because they had something I wanted,
I did
and
not.
I
I did
didn't.
not get what I have not gone about this, but we were making tacos, and the shells, the hard shells that you buy in the store, sometimes can be narrow, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Taco Bell has a taco scoop that they use for their meat. And it's a
Yep.
very specific setup, and it's a little triangle shaped scooper that's about the length of their tacos, and you can just scoop the meat up and drop it straight into the taco. It's
Yeah.
perfect perfect size and shape to get it right in a taco. So we looked it up. And you can find a couple of fucked up knockoffs that don't really, that the handle position's not right. Taco Bell has a patent on this fucking scoop. So you cannot get their scoop unless you get one directly from a
Unless you
Taco
rob
Bell.
them. Gotcha.
Right. So there is a
There you
reason
go.
outside of making a snack to rob a Taco Bell because I
There
am
you go,
not the
guys in
first
the
person
chat.
to want that scoop.
There you go, guys in the chat. If you ever are inclined, there's a reason.
There it is. That
Yep.
that that can be the reason. The scoop. The scoop is awesome. I've seen them using it, and I'm like, damn, that would be perfect for home. It would just be perfect. Puts the right amount of meat on
Yeah.
there, the whole 9 yards.
So anyway, I hear we have some headline stuff. Was
Yeah,
that
that'll
it?
come in a little bit
Okay.
tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that on tomorrow's show.
Okay.
No, there was something I wanted to mention to you because I think you might have noticed that Sneetches is in the title as well.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Dr. Seuss story, The Sneetches?
No, I thought it was just a dumb way of saying snitches. So.
No. And I'll explain why. Actually, Henry, our friend, our IRL friend Henry,
Mm-hmm.
said something the other day, and it prompted me to reference, what I call the Sneetches theory. Um, but basically, the Sneetches was a story by Dr. Seuss. I love all of his stories. Some of them are just great. Fox and Socks is a
Mm-hmm.
knockout book. It's fun to read to kids. If you enjoy reading to kids, you can get into
Right.
books. It's a fun one. But the Sneetches was a great moral, moralistic story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Philosophical, the whole 9 yards. You have Sneetches, right? Well, the Sneetches are great and fine, except there's a problem with it. There's two different types of Sneetches. There are
Oh
Sneetches
shit.
that have stars on their bellies, and there
Oh,
and there are Sneetches that have no stars on theirs.
I do remember that. Yeah, I
So
do remember that book.
the starbelly Sneetches don't let the non-star Sneetches come around. They segregate themselves from each other because they're
Right.
better than those Sneetches without
Naturally.
stars on theirs.
Star Sneetches is fucking
Yeah,
the star fuckers. God damn, Nephilim Ninja.
right? I
Who
love
hurt
it.
you?
But
Who hurt you?
right, show us on the doll where they touched you. I
Yeah,
mean, really, see, where did the Sneetch
Nephilim.
touch you? Um,
Nephilim. It's not your fault, Nephilim.
it's not your fault.
It's not
It's
your
not your
fault.
fault. So, and something that Henry was saying equated the Sneetches story to me, to this, this whole George Floyd Black Lives Matter movement that's going on right now. All of this equality, because the Starbelly Sneetches, all right. So the Sneetches without stars, they were all pissed off. And they wanted to be as good as the Starbelly Sneetches. Well, along comes Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and
Naturally.
he's like, "Look, I can build this machine, and guess what it'll do? It'll put stars on your bellies, right?" So here comes Mr. State, and he says, "Okay, so all we need is some money." So he reaches, they now unfortunately our Sneechers without stars, they don't have any money, so we got to take the money from somebody else. It's the only change in the story, but we will put that a star on your belly, and you'll be just as good as the rest of them. We'll slap a star on you, and you're good to go. It'll cost money, but it's fine. And
Hmm.
now everybody will be the same. But guess what? Whenever that happened, the Starbelly Sneetches were like, no, 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 no. If we want to be better than them, we got to take the stars off of ours. So they did. And guess who took care of that for them? The state. But no
Yeah.
matter which way it went, nobody was ever happy.
And the only one that was profiting
Right?
is the guy
Was
the
was
state. Yeah.
Sylvester McMonkey McBean. And he
Yep.
was making hand over fist money,
Hmm.
slapping star band-aids on Sneetches so that everybody felt like they were equal. And then
Yep.
finally somebody got wise to him. And they're like, wait a minute. You're just fucking with us. you're causing these problems more than anything else. Why don't we just all not have stars? And we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is
The state is the problem. Fuck the state.
they will give they will give everybody stars. They want to give everybody stars at a cost, at a price, and we'll
Hmm.
all be equal. All that takes is slap a little paint on it, and you're equal. It's all it takes. It worked. It's civil rights, affirmative action. It all worked. But yeah, that story, that story is so to me so representative of where we are in this scramble for equality,
Hmm.
wanting to keep up with the Joneses, be as good as all you got to do is give us some more money in our communities, give us some more money, and everything will be
Yeah.
fine. Where's that money going to come from,
Where's it gonna go?
right? And then where's that money going to go, right?
Yeah. Where's
We're
it
going
being? What's it being spent on?
to what happened to it the first time?
Hmm.
Where's all the money currently going?
Right.
You know,
That's a big problem. Is just throwing good money after bad.
yeah, and it's interesting to me. I was listening to something and it was talking about it was a promotion for something. I forget what it was, but it was talking about rap music and being the music of their culture and their people and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I get it. There, I like any genre of music. There's good and there's bad. But a lot of rap music is self-aggrandizing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like I got all this money. I'm a big player. I'm all this and I'm all that. And I'm like, how?
Well,
So,
not as much. Not as much in the modern day.
hmm,
Like with the brand new stuff coming out. That was more of like a
well,
2005 to
well,
like
we're starting
2013,
to we're going to
2014.
go back into that kind of NWA phase with rap, right? Where it's going to
Yes,
be
yeah.
anger
There's a
and
lot of there's also a lot of progressive messaging in it.
right,
Yeah, because
because that's never been there before.
I have the privilege of listening to a lot of it while I'm at work because there's a
The
big like
privilege,
Bluetooth speaker. Yeah,
right?
so I get to hear a lot of what the kids are listening to these days. And yeah, there's a lot of that progressive messaging in it. A lot about like white like hating white people and shit. It's pretty
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's a shame to see it starting to slip back into that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think about like all of that. I'm like, how oppressed are you if a lot of your music represents this, high roller, big player, big money
Right. Well,
kind of thing, right? How do you
that
even
was
start
something
to
to
talk about oppression at the same time as
right.
you're
I
rolling
mean,
lyrics like that?
well, because that's something to like aspire to, and like they're like, look, despite all these problems, all these extra efforts I had to put in, I still made it. That's kind of where they're going with it. Um.
Hmm.
Oh, fuck. What else was I gonna say? God damn it! I had something else, and then you went on too long,
Oh
so I lost it.
no!
Yeah.
Oh no! I don't care. I just don't care, John. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right, so so I had an idea, and I thought it might be fun to do a little quiz because, and let me give a little bit of setup on this. As you know, I use Smart News on my mobile device, which is a news
Mm.
aggregator, gets me headlines and all of this, categorizes the whole nine yards. Well, of course, like any rational individual, one of the categories I have up is politics 2020, the election, the whole nine yards. And then recently they made a change, which I thought was interesting. And in the politics section, they broke it into two categories. It gave you the option to filter by either Biden or Trump, right?
Hmm.
When you're looking at the news from all sides in the 2020 election. So when you pick one of those two, it gives you a slider with three settings. You've got far left, you've got center of the road, and you've got far right. And it
Really?
curates the articles based off which lean they have, what spin they're putting on it, what news source it is,
Wow.
etc.
Okay.
Right? So what I thought I would do is I was going to pull up. I was going to do I started with Trump. And I'm going to throw some headlines out at you. And your goal is to determine whether or not it's a left, middle, or right leaning article
Okay.
by the headline. Some are
So
easy, some
left,
aren't.
centrist, left, middle, or right?
Right, correct.
Not like far right, far left, just left,
Well,
middle, or
yeah,
right?
you're going by media, so it's
Okay.
basically media that's speaking to the left, media.
Right.
Um, so, like I said, some are relatively easy, others are,
So
you're gonna have you may. So, I'm gonna allow you. Uh, I'll say we'll start with five. We'll see how five works. I'll give you five options to ask for the news source if you're unsure about the headline.
okay.
All right. All right, so let's see if I can throw something easy up here and to get it started. Um, Giuliani kicks up sand around presidential debates as Trump's electoral odds dim.
Oh well, that's a left one right there.
Good. See, that one was
Yeah, it's
relatively
very
easy to
easy.
get, right?
Yeah, well, because they
Uh,
mentioned. Yeah, okay. I don't have to explain the reasoning, I guess.
and here's another one. This one should be easy. Trump winning big with swing voters.
Oh well, yeah, that's gonna be a right-leaning one.
Definitely a right?
Yeah.
All right, see if you can pick this one up. Playing electoral defense, Trump claims Biden opposes God.
Um. Ooh, it's a little tougher. I'm gonna go with left.
It's actually more center of the road.
Center.
That's a centrist, right?
Interesting.
And I think that there's something that you can look for in some of those headlines. We'll see as it goes a little
Well,
further
yeah.
along.
I mean, I did kind of see that it kind of hit both of them. So I guess maybe I should have chose middle. Yeah. They kind of
Um,
yeah.
Trump
Hmm.
says considering few places for nomination acceptance speech.
That sounds like a center.
That's very much the center.
Yeah,
Good. See,
because there was
um,
no opinion in it.
right.
Yeah.
There's that there. Uh, President Trump denies involvement with Kanye West's campaign.
Hmm. Say it again.
Trump denies involvement with Kanye West's campaign.
Left.
That's actually a right by
Is it
Newsmax.
really?
Yeah, whoever Newsmax
Because they
is.
usually call him President Trump. That's why I asked you to repeat it because I wanted to see if they just called
Right.
him Trump,
Um, but
which would have been
but again,
okay.
this one leans towards you hear it in the title that there's it sounds like there's going to be a quote in there,
Yeah.
right? Uh, oh wait, I said right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So um, now here's one. This one, let's see where you go. Trump's unreality force field.
Unreality force field.
Right.
Ooh. Because that sounds like a quote from 1984, which the right enjoys quite a bit. Um, However, it seems to be attacking Trump, so like I don't know. I would say satirical if that was an option, but I'm gonna go with left on this one.
So that one is also a right from the right wing, and
Man, I
basically,
shouldn't have questioned myself then. God damn it, because I
right.
did mention that. Yeah, fuck. All right,
Yeah.
let me get in the
Because
zone here.
the right is starting to be a little more critical of him. There's another interesting thing to point out, which I will in a moment. Warnings of unconstitutional assault on Social Security as Trump threatens unilateral suspension of payroll tax.
All right, say it again.
Warnings of unconstitutional assault on Social Security as Trump threatens unilateral
Damn.
suspension of payroll tax.
I'm gonna go with right.
That one's a lefty.
God damn
It
it!
was
I'm getting them all wrong now. I was started off really strong.
Pentagon officials bewildered by Trump's claim Beirut explosion was an attack.
Left.
That one is left, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, Trump says he may act to stop evictions amid virus aid talks.
Center.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. So here's an interesting note about the way they break these articles up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it says it's pooling from a total of 72 articles, right? For this, for one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. There are only 9 right leaning articles out of those 72.
Of course. Yeah.
Only 9.
And they're all critical of Trump.
Well, like the centrist ones aren't that bad. I mean, it
The
really is
headlines are
just
fine.
like
Yeah.
general reporting on
Just
activity,
not
right?
like journalism. You mean? Yeah.
Conservatives urge Trump to take unilateral action to suspend payroll tax collection, things like that. Um, but Joe Lockhart urges Biden not to debate Trump.
That's going to be a right
Yeah, it
leaning one.
is.
Yeah. That was pretty easy.
And the funny is, 2 of those 9 articles, the other one, another one right after that, some in the media call for Biden not to debate Trump.
Yeah.
It's like 2 people wrote basically the same
Well, it
article.
happens all the time. It happens all
So
the
there's
time,
only
actually.
8
Yeah.
actual articles feeding the right.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's see if it's a little, how much different it is for Biden, right? Um, do you think he would have more or left or right articles, more to the left or more to the right?
Wait, who?
Biden.
Biden? What do you mean? What do you have?
Do you think there's more left-leaning articles written about him or right-leaning articles?
I would say left.
Surprising.
Actually, no. I was changing it just now because yeah, they're trying to hide him. They're trying to keep him out of the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's
So
more than Trump had on the right, but Biden has fewer left-leaning media
yeah,
articles out. So you can definitely tell it's campaign season. Right?
yeah.
All right, so let's see. Let me throw some headlines at you, and you tell me what. Catholic voters group calls on Biden to condemn rising climate of anti-Catholicism.
Right leaning.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a middle of the road article.
Uh,
Probably something he said at a rally or something.
right.
Trump aides frustrated by his nonsensical Biden attacks in Ohio.
Left.
Definitely left.
Yeah, that was very easy.
Kanye West indicates he's running for president to sabotage Joe Biden. Keep Trump in office.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Oh, you know what? It cut off the headline.
Uh,
There's a problem with the article, so maybe it's being updated. Uh, oh, so he said he's running for president to sabotage. It's saying he said he's running for president to sabotage Joe Biden and keep Trump in office. I don't know how his running for president keeps Trump in office unless, I
he's
mean,
gonna pull more black voters than Democrats. He's gonna
so is he going to run as a Democrat? I haven't checked into that.
Kanye. He's running on his own.
Oh, independent?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he's just running. So
He wants to pull
that's
voters
his
from
idea.
Biden.
Pulling black voters to him
Right.
from Biden. Yeah.
Biden stuck in shadows as surrogates pitch candidacy.
Say that again. Biden what?
Stuck in shadows as surrogates pitch candidacy.
Oh, that's right leaning.
Definitely right leaning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
His seem a little clearer. Can Biden plan for a pandemic presidency?
Left.
Damn, you're good with Biden.
That was a very easy one because they mentioned a pandemic presidency, meaning because they expect it to go on in perpetuity. So it's just like this is how life is now. So it makes a lot more sense that they would be worried about future planning for it.
So, um, while we're on this topic, what do you? I don't know. What do you? What are you starting to feel about the election? Are
Uh,
you?
I don't know. I still like if I had to put it in a win lose, I would still say that Trump wins. However, the percentage of certainty is a lot lower now.
Um, is it possible that all of this mail-in voting slash coronavirus situation, plus on top of that, with all the ne'er do wells associated with, you know, violent activity in the country
Mhm.
and troll like activity, as it were, um, is it setting up a scenario where the states themselves will potentially call foul on the election and postpone elections for him?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, do
Yeah.
do the states have that power to postpone their actual state held election, or
I
are
actually don't
they under
know.
a requirement to get those votes in by that deadline, or they don't count?
Yeah, I actually don't know that. I have no idea.
That is something I guess we would have to look into that. That would be an interesting thing to find out because states have a lot of control over what they do with voting, right? I mean, it's typically mostly in the state's hands. It's bad enough that Trump wants to say that he wants to have some hand in mail-in voting, but it's up to the states to decide if they want to do that ultimately, right?
I think
They're
so.
allowed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
handle their election the way they want to handle their election.
Right.
That's why we don't have one centralized system that
Right.
that works, you know? I mean, it's we
Yeah.
don't have a system that works, you know,
Not well, not efficiently at
successfully.
least. Yeah. I mean, it works well enough, but not enough to work like forever. There's no way.
Would you agree that enough flaws have been shown in the system over the last 20 years?
Probably more than that, but yeah. I mean, the cracks have just been widening and widening.
Because there's so much more room for exposure now, right? Right.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's at your fingertips when you have,
Right.
shit to share these days. So,
Yeah. And everyone can like learn about the different cracks and flaws or whatever in the
oh
system
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's not a good yeah.
And of course, the beauty of it is we are in the day and age where you are supposed to believe everything you see on the internet. I think
Yeah.
that's what has happened. I do believe that's happened.
Yeah, I remember when people were skeptical on the internet.
Right?
I don't know what happened.
You can't believe anything you read on the internet. I remember
Right.
I remember saying that back in the day. You can't believe anything
Mm-hmm.
you read on the internet. I mean, we knew people were making shit, right? This was people were creating stuff.
Yeah.
You leave things in the hands of people, you can't trust anything. So, but now, well, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic. You have to everything is true on the internet that fits your narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's you know up your ideological avenue, as it were. You know, then
I thought you
it's real, right?
I thought
It's
you were gonna say up your ideological ass. I was like,
no
wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna use that sometime. Like,
up your ideological
shove
ass.
that right up your ideological ass.
But that definitely seems to be the modus operandi at this point. Is that that's what I want to believe. It's not. I don't know. It's not that it's true. Hell, a lot of people, even in their minds, probably look at some information and go, "That's probably not true." But I want to believe that. That's what I want to be true.
Hmm.
and thus it starts to become reality to them. That they incorporate that into part of their reality. This is truth. I saw it on the internet. It's true.
Yeah.
What happened to us, John? When did this
um,
when did this all get fucked up?
it became a much bigger part of our lives, and therefore, like most businesses, especially media businesses, moved to the internet. And so now you have, that's where everyone gets their news. No one reads the newspaper anymore, except for like a select few people. But the majority of people don't read the newspaper anymore, right?
Yeah.
If they watch the news, it's usually, I don't know, at the gym, or if they're out getting coffee or something, and the CNN's on, in the Starbucks or whatever, you know, or whatever little fucking shop you're in. But most people get the majority of their news online, and so I guess they kind of trusted news sources, especially when they're within their bubble, especially when they're telling you something that you want to hear. Then you're much less likely to be skeptical of it.
All right. So here's a question for you, John.
Hmm.
You're what, 37 years old?
30.
38? All right.
Yeah, correct.
Um, how long, realistically, in the present day and age, how long could you go without your phone and
My phone.
and your computer?
Ooh. It depends on where I'm at, right? If I'm just like here, probably not that long. I would uh
Just normal
a
everyday
couple.
life. Nothing. We're not talking about extraneous situations. We're just
Right.
talking. If we said, John, we're taking your phone and your computer away, how long do you think you could last before saying your safe word?
um at least a week or two. I have a lot of books. I have a lot of books. Like a lot.
So, knowing that you could have access to it with one word, you still think you could stick it out for 2 weeks?
It would
Or do you
be
realistically think you would cave sooner than that?
Well, I mean, it depends on what I'm getting for doing it. Like if I'm not getting anything, then there's
See,
no
look at it.
incentive, then
Look at
fuck
it.
it.
It's all no, yeah.
Why would I do that if there's no
The
incentive?
challenge is what your that's your incentive
Yeah,
is the
but okay,
challenge. Remember when
what do I get if
challenge
I
used to
win?
be the reward?
What do I get when I win? Fuck that. No. No, that's not how this
You
works.
get the knowledge of whether or not you succeeded in your challenge or not. You
No.
set a goal. Did you achieve it? Jesus Christ.
Listen, I
You're
did the
not giving me
first.
money? No, then I can't
I
do
didn't say
anything that
money. It doesn't have to be
challenges me.
money. It doesn't have to
Oh,
be
it's got
money.
to be something though, right? You
It's
got
gotta
to
be
get
something.
something out of it.
Yeah.
You can't just go for internal satisfaction or
Correct.
reward, right?
Correct.
That's just fucking pussy. Weak.
You wouldn't do it.
What?
You wouldn't do it.
Oh, I know. I'm realistic enough to give an answer to the question.
Well, see, I would do it like to work for something, yeah. To like, at the end of the 2 weeks or whatever, I get something for it, then yeah, that's worth it. But otherwise, it's just denying myself something for no reason.
I could see trying to do it for the challenge, but I know I wouldn't last very long. I would honestly say at best I might, I don't know. I could probably stretch 72 hours out of it, maybe. But I know that there's just, realistically, I'm going to start jonesing for that digital connection.
Yeah,
I mean, I just know. I'm self-aware enough to know that. He doesn't want to achieve boredom. See,
yeah,
and but see, there's so many things you can do to avoid
right.
boredom, and
It's
that's
true. I do have a musical instrument I could be learning, but then I
like,
would need the internet to learn how to do it. So,
no, you go to a fucking store and you buy a goddamn book that
uh,
teaches you how to play the instrument.
I don't learn well
Just
that way. But
you know what? People did that for a long fucking time without a goddamn YouTube video.
mhm.
Once upon a time, we could actually open a book and teach ourselves something.
That sounds hideous,
Archaic, right? Oh
right?
my god,
I know, right? Oh
archaic.
my God.
Right?
I
Oh
mean,
my
I
god.
guess you were sitting down and reading books, right? Like in between being chased by brontosaurus and such. I mean,
Mm, yeah.
come on, man, that's fucked up. You
No,
just
it's
throw
just
like paper, what ink? Gross.
Think about it this way. Think about how much time you could devote to practicing with the sword. Think about how much time you could devote to practicing with, your martial arts,
Yeah.
or your bow.
Getting back in shape.
You
Yeah.
could
No, I mean
actually
that's true.
there are
I
so
could
many
probably last longer
things
than 2 weeks then. I could probably last quite
potentially,
a while. Yeah.
but the
Could probably last quite a
satisfaction
while.
of knowing you did that isn't enough for you. See, there's the problem.
Well, no, so it would be the satisfaction. That would be the satisfaction in improving the skills that I have already. That would be, or learning a new skill. That would be where
Oh,
the
okay, so that
satisfaction
could be
comes
your
from. Not,
incentive.
well, no, because I can already do that
No,
with
you
access
still
to the
want you
internet.
still want a bag of fucking candy afterwards, a
That's
gold
right.
star or something.
Yeah, something.
Jesus Christ, you kids. See, this is what happens when you graduate from first fucking grade. It starts
Yeah,
a slippery slope that leads to this
it's true.
this entitlement bullshit.
It's not entitlement.
It's a
That's your
type of
challenge. It's a
entitlement.
gentleman's
No,
challenge.
I can't do anything without a reward.
Yeah,
That's an entitlement.
that's not an entitlement. That's
That's
like
that's being
I'm putting
entitled.
myself. I'm
I
putting
can't.
myself through things that I don't need to be put through.
Personal satisfaction is a reward in
I
and of
get that
itself. That
anyway.
used to be something that
Oh my
you
god.
wanted.
Back in my day, young whippersnappers with your etch a sketches and your
Now people
ZZ
think
tops.
now people think they're successful because they actually Googled exactly what they were looking for. That's a success.
That is not a
Right?
success.
If you get what you're looking for on the first page of your Google search, that's you've had a
That happens
successful
all the
day.
time. What are you talking about?
Right. Right? The bar is low. It's
Yes,
motivation, not
correct,
entitlement. No, see,
Ninja.
but he's
See, he's on my side.
he's only
He knows what's up.
motivated by a reward, not personal gain, not personal
Right, because I
satisfaction.
can do that without giving up the internet. That's
Like
the
he's
thing.
entitled to a reward.
Yeah, because I can
That's
do
the
all that stuff without giving up the internet. There's no like, they're not mutually inclusive.
You're the fucking kid that wouldn't do the dishes without somebody paying you to do it.
Well, no, I
Shouldn't
did the
it
dishes. I
get?
didn't want to get smacked upside the head.
You
So,
weren't going to get smacked upside the head. How often
uh,
did you get smacked upside the head, John?
not too often because I was a good boy.
Right, because the threat was there.
Because I was a
Right?
good
Is that what
boy.
it
Yeah.
was?
Well, it was mostly the kitchen drawer with the wooden spoon that was
The
in
wooden
it.
spoon is a
Yeah.
great one, right?
All
Now
of a sudden
you
you
had to
open
have
the
been
drawer and I
smacked by
was
that
fucking.
at
Oh
least
yeah.
once. At
Oh
least
yeah.
once, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Did it
yeah.
take more than once to get the message
Oh yeah.
across?
I'm pretty stubborn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, that's all it took was a drawer opening, and then took off across the house. I was gone.
Now now opening that drawer is a criminal offense.
Yeah, it's true.
My mommy threatened me with a wooden spoon.
Yeah.
What are the splinter laws in this state?
Oh
What are the splinter laws?
man.
Oh, I could go on all night, but I don't. I'm not. I can't. I can't go on all night. You're making me laugh too much. But no. Yeah, it's interesting. Talking about those headlines and stuff. I think it's very interesting that this news aggregator is just like, has had the wherewithal to be like, look, we're really going to tailor this stuff. If you're just a fucking wacko on one side or the other here, you won't have to get yourself incensed with this other stupid articles that'll just make you mad. Here, just
Yeah.
read these very specific articles. These will feed you and
Read
you'll
the
be
ones
fine.
that. Yeah.
It's a good way to diffuse this contention, I think. You just don't have to see
It's
it, man.
not.
You don't have to
It's
see
not a good
anybody
way.
tooting their horn.
No, it's not a good way.
No?
That's what we've been dealing with for the past five
What?
years.
What?
Five
You make it
years.
5 years?
5 or 6. Yeah, it's
Your
been
your
easily that
your
long.
your hindsight is extremely limited, my friend. This polarization started back at
Right, but I mean like the bubbles. I mean, like, you living entirely in a right wing or a left wing bubble where you don't even.
uh
So
gotcha.
you're just sitting there talking and hating on the other side, and they're doing the same to you, and then neither of you are talking. And so if you do, you have all these preconceptions of each other, and you start attacking each other because you've already been all wound up. It's
Right.
a
But
it's
if you're not
fucking
being
terrible for you. It's a
if you're
terrible thing.
but if you're not being exposed to articles from the other side, your bubble becomes less informed and
Right.
therefore less consequential. Then
No,
you just
not
get
less
categorized,
consequential.
you get sloughed into boomer.
Not less consequential. No. No.
Just
So no, because I mean that's what's happening is that there's that left bubble. Don't get me wrong, there's a right wing bubble too.
oh,
But the left wing bubble just says, "Oh, the right believes this," and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, they believe this." And even though like that's why anytime you see like a left person and a right person talk together, it's always like "Oh, you're a horrible racist and you don't and you hate women and all this other kind of shit." And they don't like they have just their talking points. They don't like they've never actually thought about
well,
what
right,
someone on the other side of the
right.
aisle believes. They've just been told what they believe and told to hate that, and that's what they do.
And
Don't get me wrong, that happens on both sides. That
and
happens to the right as
hey,
well. Where they just hear about the left wants this and the left wants that, and they hate you and they want to kill you, which some of that's true. But yeah, then they'll, then they see a left person, they're like, oh, you're a fucking commie when they might not be. And yeah, it's
you know
just really
what?
bad.
Maybe we should start selling actual bubbles.
Yeah,
And they would be
that'd be
opaque
cool.
and everything. One red or blue. You have to choose one or the other. And
So you
you
can
can't
identify yourself.
right, and you can be in your bubble, but you won't be able to see outside your bubble.
Whoa, how do you get anywhere?
Exactly. And
I mean,
hopefully,
like walking around and stuff. I don't mean like ideologically. I just mean like, how do you, like physically, how do you get anywhere?
well, that's not my problem.
I guess, yeah.
You're in your bubble. Figure it out. you know, I mean, I'm just saying. I just want you to have a bubble that when people see you, they know, they know what bubble
Yeah,
you're in.
right. I
If
think
you
you
want
need to
to,
do some more thinking about this
if you
bubble.
want to put a name tag on the outside so we all know who's who, that's great.
All right. Well,
They'll have their phones inside. They can
I'm gonna go
talk on
take
their
a
phone.
piss real quick. So
Well,
I'm gonna
yeah,
get to
hurry
some
up
of these
because
chats that have
I'm
been
gonna
around.
I'm gonna be wrapping this up in a moment.
Okay.
Meta Edgar's. Thank you, Ed. Yes, the metaphor is lost on the millennial, isn't it always? Are you still driving, Ed? That's the question I have for you. Because if you're still driving and texting, well, you should pull yourself over and make a citizen's arrest because that's just wrong. This bubble sounds very safe, doesn't it, Nephilim? I mean, think about it. You're safe on the inside of your bubble, and you can assume you're safe on the outside of your bubble because you won't see anything bad coming anyway. Exactly, Wyatt, right over his head. Oh, good, Ed. I'm glad to see you're home, and please, regale us with whatever wonderful concoction you're coming up with for dinner, and unless it's just straight up liquor, and that's understandable too. Text of speech. Oh, yeah. But yeah, see, I don't know. I think we need the bubbles. Now, the question is, would you put yourself in a bubble? Do you feel like you live in a bubble? Nephilim, Wyatt, Ed, do you feel like you have yourself in a bubble to where, like, the outside opinions don't come through? Ed's having leftovers tonight. Work in the morning. What, you don't cook when you have to work the next morning? Good Lord. Back in my day, we cooked every damn
Back in
night.
my day, we got that woman in the kitchen, and she cooked all our meals.
Right? See, Nephilim's got the right idea. See, he likes the bubble idea. He says, who cares about getting anywhere? He'd be safe. He's safe in his bubble. No one can
What?
see him. He doesn't have to worry about seeing anybody and dealing with their shit. Just in his bubble.
That's a horrible, horrible fate. I pity you, sir.
John, do you do you feel like you are in a bubble? Do you feel like you
Um,
do that?
in a way, yeah. However, I do try to be conscious of that and step out of it as often as I can because I do. I mean, I follow mostly right wing people on YouTube and Twitter and all that, but then I also make sure that I follow. a bunch of lefty people too, and listen to them just as much. Because I mean, like, so okay, I've told you before, I like T.J. Kirk. You know, he's a pretty lefty, but he's kind of more like libertarian on the social stuff, but like economically left. So, and he's actually the first one who introduced me to things like free speech, and why that's important. Um, yeah, just a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, uh, yeah, Kyle Kalinske is another good one. Um, yeah, I listen to him a lot because he's actually really reasonable. Like, even if I disagree with a lot of the things he says, he knows what he's talking about. For one, he's not just like talking out of his ass, and two, well, his points are well thought out. Even if the reasoning is wrong, he's thought it through and can come with some kind of cohesive and coherent point. So I appreciate that about him.
Now, when you say something like his reasoning is wrong, reasoning being wrong being
Just
that it doesn't
operating
jive with your
right. Well, just
ideology.
we're operating from different
Right.
different values.
So it doesn't mean his thinking's wrong. His thinking is wrong for your value
His thinking
standpoints.
is yeah, I would say his thinking is consistent with his political viewpoints.
Okay.
Like he's not a hypocrite. He's not, oh, sometimes I believe this, but when it's inconvenient, I believe that. He's very consistent. So I appreciate that in any kind of any kind of like commentator, I guess, political commentator on YouTube.
See, the reason I mentioned that is because that is kind of a bubble comment, in my opinion. Like you're saying, you're listening to someone from the other side. His
Hmm.
thinking's wrong, but he at least is a thinker, and it's like that sounds like bubble speak, right? He's
Well,
wrong because it doesn't match up with.
it's not because it doesn't match up with mine. Um, I mean, there are plenty of people, who our values align, but our conclusions aren't the same to whatever is. We see that
Right.
all the time with J. Edgar or Stephen. Um, we'll disagree on something, but we're all coming from the same values, so it's concluded pretty quickly. We're not going to sit there and scream at each other.
No, no,
we
no,
just
no. I get it. I mean,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
more. That's more of a polarizing statement than because if you think
I
about it
guess
from his perspective, he's not thinking wrong. People that agree with him
right, of
don't
course,
see him
yeah,
as thinking wrong, but it's a
right.
polarizing statement that we make, and it's not that you said something wrong. I'm just pointing out how we do these polarizing things,
Well,
where our bubble kind of kicks in,
I
and
think that I don't know. I think I made that comment more to distance myself from the ideas and to say, yeah, I don't agree with him, like overstating, like a defense
right,
mechanism, almost like
right,
overstating. I don't agree with
sure,
him. I
sure,
just listen to him for X, Y,
which
and Z reasons.
sure, which feeds into the polarization that we do
Yeah.
with our ideologies now. So let me ask you this, John. Um, when can you definitively remember the last time you had I'll use the term loosely, an ideological shift from
Mhm.
listening to something from the other side that made you rethink your position, whether it be political, or about someone, whatever, where you
Yeah.
actually allowed something to enter the bubble and change the atmosphere inside your bubble.
I would actually say it was pretty recent. The going from like minarchist to almost anarchist. Like I mean, I'm sure you've noticed, and I've mentioned it a couple of times on the show that, like, listen, I want to be, an anarchist. I would love to believe that fully. There's just a lot of problems that I still have with it. Um, so I guess you could say, like, yeah, I'm trying to shift that way. Just it's slow, it's happening slowly. And it's mostly just because I've lost all faith in government in general, like for any size.
Oh, Saint brought something up that I didn't see. What he said, he asked if we saw about the bubonic plague outbreak in China. I've heard something
No.
about this, but I've been waiting to get some. I don't know. I'm waiting for it to solidify, as it were, to where it becomes actual news
Hmm.
versus, is this something that's happening? Is this, let's trust
Like the
information.
murder hornets.
Let's trust information coming out of China. Well, the murder hornets are still around. They didn't go away.
Nah, yeah, but no one's talking about them though. They weren't as exciting as they were meant to be, I think.
Well, I think they're still talking about them up in the places where they're at, but
Yeah, whatever. No one cares about those places.
somebody did. Chop did. I'm just saying.
No.
Um, Ed says he had. Oh, Nephilim says it's hard to find libertarian bubbles.
Dave
Mm,
Smith is a great place to go for that. Honestly, he's actually the one that I've been listening to for like the because he's mostly anarchist. I think he is that way. But yeah, Dave Smith, Eric July, he's Young Ripper. He's another really good one. Um, Michael Malice, of course, and yeah, that's as far as I can think. Those are like the three that I listen to on a regular basis for libertarian stuff. I actually don't listen to a lot of libertarian like content. Um, I'm not sure why. I think it's just kind of. I think it's because I already agree with it. So for the most part, right?
right.
So there's nothing to like challenge me there except for like the anarchy part, like I was saying, going that way. There's still a lot of holes in that I can't seem to fill, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And us, yes, Nephilim Ninja, you're correct. I should have. How dare I miss a chance to plug our own stuff? Yeah, us and like the Freedom Scoop guys. Yeah, we are actually a good bubble for libertarianism.
Potentially.
Yeah, for the most
Um,
part. I think RRC is a conservative, though. I don't think he's a libertarian. I mean that's not like an insult either. Like I just don't think he goes that way.
yeah, I don't. Well, like Ed, I don't. Ed, I've never really gotten a real libertarian vibe from. He
Well,
always
he's a
seems more.
federalist,
He's
pretty.
yeah, he leans
Yeah.
a lot more towards that anarchist, but that's
Well,
some of
that
that
is
is his
libertarian.
sarcasm. Well, libertarianism and
Well,
anarchism.
there's big L and there's little L, right? Big L is the party and what they believe, and then little L is everyone else.
Libertarian. I still try and tell myself that libertarians, at least libertarians, still understand that there has to be some rule of law in the land.
There definitely needs to be a code of conduct of some sort.
Sure, however you want to call it.
Whether it's the four of us hanging out in the woods and we come up with,
I mean, if you want to
like,
call
hey,
it
let's not shit near the tents.
right,
That's
if you
still
want
a code of conduct. That's a rule of
right,
law.
right, if you want to call it rule of law, code of conduct, you can still be terminated if you don't uphold those things. Ask any
Yeah,
employer out there. Um, Wyatt did say everyone is in a bubble, and I have to agree with him to a certain
yeah,
extent. One
that's
thing I
true.
will point out, I believe that I'm a firm believer that the atmosphere inside many people's bubble has had to go through a weird acclimation period, like a lot of shifting going on simply because of the George Floyd protests slash riots that started and how all of this has gone on top of the coronavirus. I think people's ideological bubbles have been in flux in many ways. Just trying to have to rationalize, you know, what they agree with in what's been happening in this country, right? You've got, this you've got to take a stand, a side, a position on this. You've got
Yeah,
to. So everyone's been like,
stop.
okay, how does this
Yeah.
mesh with my bubble? Where do I, like,
Well, see that's a follower right there. And I don't mean that in a negative way because I mean there's always in any group of people there's always a leader and followers. Um, and that's not just like put down followers because it's also a contextual thing. If you're something, I feel like you're in your comfort zone, doing some activity that you're super comfortable with, you could be the leader there. But if you go somewhere else, outside of your comfort zone, you're probably going to become a follower. Like it just kind of happens. But yeah, so the people that you're talking about though, yeah, are followers in that aspect, and they don't necessarily either have the time or the capacity to think those things for themselves. So they have to kind of
sure,
get their talking points or get, their, I guess, the way to think from other people who
But
have already done that.
you realize that describes probably,
Most people.
the majority of our population. The majority of
Right.
our population is followers. No matter what their
Yeah.
ideology is, there's very few actual leaders in
Right.
these
Well, when I say
ideological
leaders,
groups,
when I
right?
say leaders, I don't mean people who are like organizing other people. I mean like what you and I are doing here is
Sure.
kind of a leader position,
Sure,
whereas
I
like
get
that would
that.
be more of a follower position, even if they're not always that way. In
Sure.
this context, it is that. And then when they go somewhere else, or they have their own show, they're
But
in a leader position, and there's
but in
that.
even in our position, we're kind of followers because we joined into the new media,
Right.
this
Yeah.
new media movement,
Right.
right?
It's contextual.
We
Yeah.
weren't like, groundbreaking starting all of this or
No.
anything. We
No. Of
were,
course not.
so in
Yeah.
a sense, while I see where you talk about from a leadership standpoint or inspirational, whatever,
Mhm.
motivational, we are still followers in that effect as well.
Right.
um, and that is the problem with the bubbles, um, and especially when they get rattled, because it's like, who do I follow, right? What do I
Yeah.
follow? you know I'm hoping that there's some people that shift, that shakeup they have within their bubble is telling them, oh, maybe I just need to follow what I think is best. Maybe that's where I need to go, and kind of step out of that follower role and more
Hmm.
into an independent form.
Right.
Um,
So now you're actually hitting on something very interesting. And how I started with libertarianism, something called objectivism. That I believe it was Ayn Rand who, I think she coined that.
I
I'm
believe
pretty
so too.
sure that she coined the term objectivism. If not, it was, very close to her being around. But yeah, it's basically just the idea that no one can run your life better than you can. And obviously you're responsible for, your own life, and that you must always do whatever is in your best interest. So whatever that is, and of course, you can get into the whole minutia of what is actually, best for you.
Sure.
But that's a general outline of objectivism.
I mean, it's yeah, it's the hope that there's a lot of people that are actually sitting around going, you know, there there are no right answers. There are no left answers. There are no answers coming. So
Hmm.
maybe I need to start asking new questions
Right.
that only I can answer, right?
Hmm.
Because this is causing, those people that are getting their ideological bubbles shifted and confused. These are people that are acting out in irrational ways. And you're seeing it, little hot spots, things, this, that, and the other happening all around the country where people are acting out. And it's purely from fear.
Yeah.
Misinformation is one of the biggest generators of fear.
Oh yeah.
And when it challenges your own perspective on what should and shouldn't be, the way things should or should not go, and
Hmm.
who is in control of how those things are going or not going, man, the fear level, the anxiety just
Yeah.
ramps up. And people are getting thrown into this fight or flight mentality, and a lot of them are fighting, in their own special sociopathic or psychopathic ways. And it's a little scary. And I'm like, um, you are alone, and you alone control your your
Your
life.
life.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Nephilim says selfishness
and I
is a
agree with that.
virtue. I like that.
Well,
Um,
according to objectivism, it is, because like selfishness does have a massive connotation, negative connotation, obviously.
well, I
Um,
would agree with that.
right, and so he's into like the minutia of what is actually best for you,
Right,
right?
but I would argue this. Okay, I'm the type of person that will go do something nice. It will go over to my neighbor and do something nice, or for a
Yeah.
friend, help a friend out. I'll
Right.
do nice things for people. Deep down inside, it
Hmm.
is selfishly motivated
Right.
because it makes me feel better about myself,
Yep.
and it makes me feel like they feel better about who I am.
Yep.
So I
Or
do.
they feel better themselves, which makes you feel better.
Right. The
Or-
selfishness in selflessness is often a very handy tool. It makes people do things for other people, right? It
Right.
it does drive
That's
that.
you're hitting on exactly what objectivism is. Yeah.
Right.
And
Uh,
so, like, I think it was Dr. Yaron Brook who gave, I think, the best example of doing what's best for you, right? So you mentioned, doing something nice for other people makes you feel good, right? And that's what
mhm.
everyone will say.
Sure.
Like, that's why you should be giving. That's why you should do something nice for someone because it'll make you feel better. You're appealing to your self interest, which is exactly what objectivism talks about.
Right.
Um, and so it's the same thing with like, he mentioned, if you were growing up and your mother was he didn't say it like this, but if your mother was a total cunt to you your whole life growing up, and then when you're older and she gets sick, are you obligated to take care of her?
Well,
That's the thing,
no.
right?
Right.
Right. No, you're not. You don't owe her anything
No.
because you didn't ask to be born. You did not consent to that. You were born against your will, and she was responsible for you because she's the one who made the decision to give birth to you. Then it goes into this whole long thing.
Sure.
But
Right.
if caring for family is something that makes you feel good, if that's something that is in your best interest, then absolutely do it.
Now,
He was saying, it's like I'm the first person to, write a check if someone needs money. But if they're a bastard, and that was his word, it was like, if they're a bastard, I'm not going to give them any money. I shouldn't be forced to give someone money who's a bastard.
right.
And he's 100% right about that part, obviously. But that's how we get into, you know, what is actually in your best interest.
Yeah, I will say this. I do not you said something that I have to go on record saying I'm it nauseates me when I hear it.
Okay.
Um, I hate it when people make this argument. I didn't consent to being born. I was born against my will.
Yeah.
I think that is the dumbest fucking thing anybody can say.
Why is that?
You're part of a species. If it weren't for the fact that you could think, you know, at the level that we do as humans, you would just be another fucking animal. And no, there is no consent needed for nature to carry out its course.
Right.
That's
It's not
nature.
needed, but
That's
you didn't.
nature.
Right.
Nature
That
doesn't
it doesn't
require
require
consent.
consent.
And
Right,
people
but you
having
didn't.
children, that's
Hmm.
nature.
Yes, it is.
So it's not you don't get a say. You wouldn't have gotten a choice one way or the fucking other. It doesn't matter.
Right, but
There
that's
was
not the
no
point.
consent needed.
That's not the point
You
though. The
weren't
point
you weren't entitled to consent.
obviously you weren't, but the point is that you don't owe your mother anything just because she gave birth to because it's not like you
Sure.
asked for it.
No, no, no. You
That's the
don't.
point.
Right. No.
Right.
Now there is the question. You know, do you owe your parents anything for, like, I don't know, keeping you alive for the first few years when they could have
Yes,
just given you to a pack of wolves in the woods?
I personally don't think so because again, they made the decision like that, and also that's what objectivism would say. That's
They
something
did
that's
you a
stuck around.
favor.
I mean, maybe, but you didn't ask them to. It's like giving someone a gift, and then you're like, till a week later, you're like, well, why didn't you get me a gift? It's like, well, I don't know, like I didn't know that was part of the deal, right? Like I didn't ask you to give me a gift. There was no special occasion for it. You just gave me a gift. Now you're mad that I didn't get you one within a week. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
Well, that's a
You
little bit
know,
different.
I don't
That's
think it's that different though, because it's like, oh yeah, we gave birth to you, right? We've raised you, but it's like, okay, well, I didn't
it's
ask you to do that, but I
the
mean, yeah, thanks, but
it's the familial
doesn't mean I owe you.
bond, John.
See, I understand that, yes, and
Well,
if
let me
that's one of
ask
your
you this.
values, then
Let me
it does behoove you to
when
take care of
when
your family,
you
which I agree with.
when
I'm
you
saying
wind up taking care of your parents later in life, why are you going to do it?
because I love them and they're my parents.
There you go.
Yeah. but they also weren't total shitheads to me growing up.
But does that
Regardless of what I thought in my teens, they didn't actually,
but because you care about them and love them, that creates a
yeah,
responsibility
right. No, that becomes
with
in
it,
my
an,
best
an
interest.
internal
Then
responsibility, right?
right, exactly. It becomes in my best interest then to take care of them because I will feel guilty if I don't, and I will feel good if I do. So then it becomes within my self interest to do that.
You owe them,
That's the
John.
whole point.
You fucking owe them. You
Yeah,
you wouldn't have scrambled those eggs on your fucking own,
that's
pal.
true.
You could have been walking out of the
Call it being a
fucking
star
woods.
sneech giver, it says Nephilim.
Star Sneetch giver. Nice.
I like
um,
it.
yeah, I mean, you could have been 22 years old walking out of the fucking forest going, Ita in the wind! Ita in the wind!
What?
You don't get that reference?
No. I think
Oh,
you're dating yourself.
have you never seen Nell?
Nell? No.
Yes, it's Jodie Foster. She's a girl that grew up on her own out in the fucking woods, and they discovered her, like in her early 20s, and her name was Nell. She had been lost as a kid a long, long time, and she had
Oh.
developed her own language, and like she liked to dance in the wind. And Eat in the wind, eat in the wind, because she'd had a little bit of language introduction when she
Right.
was young, but she had to develop the rest on her own. So
Right.
that's how her talking.
That's interesting. Yeah. See, that kind of stuff fascinates me. Like
You
the
should
way that
watch it.
people.
Nell was a good movie,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
I'll have to.
Yeah, because it really was a good expose on what the animal in us will do, what we will do as I, for want of a better term, at our
A
earliest development,
primitive.
a
Yeah.
primitive, very primitive
Right.
state, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Definitely.
That would fascinate me. Yeah.
But I think it was from the 90s,
Hmm.
80s, 90s. I want to say it was in the 90s. Nell, Jodie Foster.
Hmm.
This was before she came out, I think.
Yeah. Whatever.
Well, it's important these days that you quantify that
hmm
because people might watch that and go, "Is she attracted to that man? I thought she was gay."
right. It's also called acting.
Acting. All right. So on your reading list are the Sneetches. Please pick up that book and read it. Um, it's good philosophy. I'm just saying, it's a good book to
I
read.
think I already got the moral lesson from
I'm just,
your explanation of it.
I will honestly say if I think people could really enjoy life a lot better if they read one Dr. Seuss book a day. Like there's some good
Maybe.
lessons in those Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah. I mean, he's a legend for a reason.
Green Eggs and Ham is another great one.
Yeah, I always sided with what's his name? Sam. I always sided with Sam in that one. Yeah. I'm a very
But you
picky
know what?
eater.
He
I
he
don't I don't
he
do that shit.
actually tried them and
Yeah.
liked them.
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple of times, but
Hmm.
less often than,
Hmm.
not liking it.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yep. Yep. Little picky bitch.
yeah.
That's the problem.
100%.
And just typical
100% I am.
typical millennial.
Yeah.
All right, John. Let's do some wrap up kind of stuff. Can you remind these wonderful folks one more time about 2 weeks from now?
Yes. Yes. Friday, August 21st, 12-hour live stream to benefit St. Jude's once again. Uh, we're going to have a trivia contest, $50 prize for winning that one. If you want to enter the competition, DM me on Discord or Twitter. Discord, honestly, is going to get you a response much faster, but either one will work. And we're also going to, at the very least, we're going to sing a sea shanty. So that'll be fun too.
Jeopardy.
Yeah,
Pe-
Jeopardy style. Well,
oh,
almost Jeopardy style
I
trivia
still I still
contest.
believe I still believe the penis drawing contest is on the table as well.
Oh yeah,
Please send John a message if you would like to be a part of that as well. If you don't mind coordinating who's going to be in the competitions,
I
you can.
suppose yeah.
It's a
But
simple spreadsheet.
should we allow? Okay, we'll talk about this off mic then.
Should we allow black penises?
That's not
John,
what I
why
was
does he
saying.
have to be racist about this?
I mean, honestly, you'll probably win if you draw a black penis. Um, but I
Star
mean, your decision, I
Sneetches are
guess.
beaches.
Yeah, they are.
What's up, beaches?
What's up,
What's up?
my Sneetch? What's up, Sneetches?
John,
Yeah,
if someone wanted to reach out and touch us, they could do that, couldn't they?
they sure could
How
by
would they do
going
it?
right down to the description
Right
where we
there?
have. That's right, where we have our Twitter, link to our Twitter at
Ooh, right
GenGapP.
there.
Yeah, got our Discord server. So if you're not in
Yes,
there, go
yes.
jump in there. It's a lot of fun. It's very active. It's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
It
I love it a
is.
lot.
Yep. Yep.
And then we've also got freedomscoop.com. You can
Whoa.
find all of our stuff and other creators like Jay Edgar, Stephen Ignoramus, got Wyatt
Wyatt.
over there from Roundtable Decision.
Round table.
Wow. And then we've got Already Conservative. He's over there too. And Freckles and Britt are over there too. I think that's it though. I think I covered them all. So yeah, do that.
Yeah.
And while you're there, pick up a shirt or a
Or
mug.
a mug.
Or a mug. Yeah. We got a lot of them. So
Am I going
make
too
sure you grab one.
fast? Am I going too
No,
fast?
you're good. No, it's perfect. And yeah, go ahead and put the code GenGap
Gin Gap.
in at the checkout, and you'll get 15% off your purchase. So there's that. Over there being a fucking like co-singer or something, or what a background singer. That's what I was thinking.
Freedom Scoop Troop. That's us, baby.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're going to get the hell out of here. I know it's a little bit early tonight, but, it is what it is. I'm in a little bit of pain this evening, so I'm going to be less of a pain. And
Yeah, his bones are aching. There's gonna be a storm soon.
yeah, I wish it was that. We already had the storm. We
Yeah, I
had our
know.
daily allotment of.
That's true.
Yeah, I was just the neighbor's lawn crew came by today, and she was commenting on our plan. She's like, "It looks like this rain really blew up your garden." Because I mean, John, it's everything's gotten fucking huge. It's like a jungle around this place.
That's awesome.
But she's like, I do, I go to a lot of different places and everything. Your shit may be going crazy, but it's all contained. It looks good. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We work on that part, but man, John, you should see the backyard. It's like hard to tell where one plant begins and another ends. It's weird,
Yeah.
but I'm loving it. That's my thing.
Fuck yeah.
All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thank you very much, folks, for stopping by tonight. Good conversation. Just kind of killing some time tonight. We will be back again on Monday for our regular Shooting the Shit episode at 9:30, and then of course we'll be back again next week for our Friday night episode at 8:30. Both of those times are Eastern time, not to be confused with those second-rate time zones. Eastern time is the one true zone. We
That's
are
right.
the zone.
We are the time zone to end all time zones.
Or begin, actually.
Well,
we get the sun first. I mean, come on.
Yeah, true.
We start your day.
That's right.
If it
We're
weren't
like
for us, you
Folgers in
wouldn't
your
even.
cup.
Right? If it
Start
weren't for
your
us,
day.
you wouldn't even get up in the fucking morning.
That's true.
Right? All right. So watch for us. Thanks again, everybody, for showing up. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already. Whoever did hit the dislike button, Ed, I don't know who it was, but if you can track him down, I have some tar and feather out back. Outside of that, John, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Thanks for stopping by. We will talk at you later.
Yep. See you guys.
Peace.
The war will begin.